RDA's been laying a little low lately, which has been bothering me. RDA has been bothering me ever since he came out with an interview and said, I lost my last fight. I have no right to call somebody out, so I'll wait and see what happens. And the only reason that bothered me is he is disrespecting himself. RDA does not need to follow the rules that everybody else has to follow. He is a world champion. When you become a world champion, the rules change. And for him to act like, well, I'm just one of the guys and I'm happy to be here. RDA, you're a champion of the world who's fought in 2 different weight classes. Excuse me. So RDA lays out, real simple. He says, look, I can go 155 pounds on 5 weeks' notice, anybody you want me to do. But if that's the weight class, that's the time I'm going to need. Give me 170 pounds. I'm ready to go on 1 day's notice. Then he says LMK, which the kids on the internet tell me stands for let me know. I love that. I love when a fighter tells us exactly what he's willing to do. Why do we have to go back and forth and play all of these games? Oh, call my manager and call this guy and what's his record and how did he do? And the rankings, shut up. I love what RDA just did. You want me to go 170 pounds? No problem. Need just over a month. You want me to go 155? Call me today. Any way you want to do it, anyone you want to do, Fight Island, Apex, you figure all that out. This is what I can and am willing to do. Okay. I mean, that seems like a pretty easy scenario to work within. Not to mention, there's great fights out there for RDA. I have never seen a guy have a harder schedule in the history of MMA. And there's some guys you could compare it to. You go back and look at what Keith Jardine, you go look at the opponents that Keith Jardine had, and some of them on very short notice. Like he fought Gegard Mousasi in Strikeforce on 5 days, something like this, and went the distance with him, made it a very competitive fight. I mean, not only the opponents and the hammers that Keith had to go through, but you could look at some of the scenarios. Very tall orders there. You go and look at what Dan Henderson did. And one of the reasons Dan Henderson's career was so incredibly difficult is he never had a weight class. If I was to ask you right now, what weight class was Dan Henderson? You could throw out 3 answers and you'd be right on all of them. He won world championships in 2 weight classes. He won a major tournament in the heavyweight class where he even had to defeat Big Nog, who won the Pride title, who won the UFC title. He went up to heavyweight and fought Fedor at one point. I mean, if you just go look at the career of Dan Henderson with Keith Jardine, with Dan Henderson, I still say RDA, hardest schedule in the history of the sport, not to mention world champion, not to mention only fights in main events. If RDA gets a demotion at this point in his career for whatever reason, he goes to a co-main event. And he wants to come out and talk about, I don't have the right, I don't have... RDA, excuse me. You get to make the rules. You just accidentally did make a rule. Other guys need to copy RDA, and they need to copy what he just did. Come out and tell us what you're willing to do and when you're willing to do it.